While I'm draining the oil on the Parisienne here, I thought I would show a little bit more about the frame. Since this is a Chevrolet frame, as I mentioned, it's a Pontiac Parisienne. And you can see the X-frame there. And look how far the body hangs out over the X-frame. So the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, or IHS, crashed one of these vehicles versus Chevrolet Malibu probably about 10 years ago, sometime around then. And they concluded that the vehicle was not safe, and how basically we're saying and touting how far safety has come in all the intervening years. And in part, some of that is obviously true. The vehicles today are much better engineered for crash standards. You can imagine the side impact on this car with no bracing on either side, and the frame significantly inboard would not provide you with much structure in the event of a crash. But I think it's also relative too. First of all, cars were engineered for crash starting in the, I would say, late 60s. Kind of the collapsible steering column came in the late 60s. And then even through the 70s, they really got better and better. I would have loved to see that crash, a Malibu versus like a 1975 or 6 Eldorado with the big hang-on bumpers. But again, it's all relative. While this vehicle, look at that frame versus where the body ends. While this vehicle certainly doesn't have a lot of rigidity, the visibility is excellent. You don't get this in cars today, and I think this is one thing that really gets passed up is there's all these standards for rollover and roof crush and side impact standard that make the A pillar super chunky, the B pillar super chunky, the C pillar super chunky. And then you have to add blind spot monitoring systems so you can actually see out of the car, because you can lose vehicles in any of those pillars. Well, this car, as Mark was saying in the other video, if you have a blind spot in this car, you're blind. It doesn't even have a passenger outside rearview mirror or a driver's outside rearview mirror. And once you get used to it, you don't really need one. You just turn your neck and you have a completely unencumbered view of what's going on. So is this car, great for safety? No, it doesn't even have seat belts. However, it is excellent for visibility, and I think sometimes we've made the trade-off too far in one direction, because every time you change lanes or come to a intersection, you use this for sure. Do you use, the chunky A-pillars to protect you in a rollover every single time you change lanes at an intersection? No. And I think, there's obviously some balance here. Maybe we've over-rotated a little bit, but I will say the car, in addition to looking cool, I think it does have a lot of functionality from a safety standpoint. I would say clear visibility all the way around is definitively something that is related to safety. And today we just don't have that. I can't think of a car where we've got clear visibility. The pickup trucks and SUVs are better, but nothing like this. But I just thought I'd show you what this looks like under here. It's just an original underbody. And so much distance between the frame and the rocker here. And when you look at these old cars, don't get worried about the surface rust or anything. This is all solid metal. This car sees no wet weather or anything. You can treat this with Pour 15 or some other substitute, but like I said, I never drive this car in anything that resembles moist weather. So I thought I'd just show that to you. While it's under here, you can see the X right there in the middle. So this frame is way inboard, right, and this X is right in the middle of the rear door. And then you can see the coil, rear suspension, and the axle. These Parisiennes are great, but I believe in the early 60s they did have some issues with the bodies cracking because the Chevrolet frame obviously had different dimensions from the Pontiac frame, and it unnaturally stressed the body. I haven't heard of that happening on the 59s, but just something to be watching out for if you want an early 60s Parisienne. Like 63.4, I want to say, are the most common for that. And the humorously inboard wheel. In any event, back to the oil change. Thanks. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching this video on the 1959 Pontiac Parisienne's Chevrolet X-Frame. If you enjoyed it, please like and comment, as that helps the YouTube algorithm serve it up to more viewers like you. And check out some of the video thumbnails at bottom left and right for some suggestions on videos for you. And if you're not yet subscribed, hit the 67 Buick Riviera at the top left, then click the bell to ensure you're notified of all my future videos. Till next time, thanks for watching and take care.